Today, we're digging into a massive digital disaster that hit the city of St. Paul, Minnesota. A coordinated cyber attack that forced citywide shutdowns and triggered National Guard intervention. Mayor Melvin Carter had to pull the plug on critical city systems. And Governor Tim Walz, he called in the cyber troops. This wasn't a minor glitch, it was a full-blown digital blackout. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Nelly Miranda. Okay, so on Friday, July 25th, St. Paul's automated systems flagged suspicious network activity. By Monday morning, city officials confirmed that they were under attack, and they immediately began shutting down internet access, email servers, public library systems, and more. Take a look at this news clip from ABC5.
On the streets of St. Paul, many were unaware of this cyber attack on the city.
I am issuing a local declaration of emergency.
But up on the 6th floor of City Hall, right outside his office door,
we now know that this was not a system glitch or technical error.
Mayor Melvin Carter said something no mayor of the capital city has ever said.
This was a deliberate, coordinated digital attack carried out by a sophisticated external actor, intentionally and criminally targeting our city's information infrastructure.
Last Friday, suspicious activity was detected on the city's network.
We are the victims of a serious crime.
On Monday, the city fully shut down its information systems as a defensive measure to contain the threat.
All internet is cut off. And so the majority of city services right now are not available.
At the city's request, Governor Tim Walz activated the Minnesota National Guard to assist in the response to the attack.
We've activated the city's Emergency Operations Center to coordinate a whole-of-government response. We've retained 2 national firms with deep cybersecurity expertise to support our recovery. And we're working closely with local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, to trace the source and scope of the breach.
The FBI is investigating this crime tonight. The city is trying to find out if any information was stolen during the attack. We don't know how long the network will be down, but thankfully 911 is fully operational.
So the events went as followed. On Friday, the breach was detected. Saturday and Sunday, containment fails. Monday, major shutdown. Tuesday, the National Guard was activated. City Hall libraries and rec centers all disrupted. Utility payments offline, internal communications frozen. The entire digital backbone of the city was compromised. Some city workers were reportedly sent home because they couldn't even access their work emails. That's a lot. This attack was so severe that Tim Walz had to call in the Minnesota National Guard's cyber protection team. A clear admission that the city couldn't handle it on its own. Walz issued an executive order activating the Guard, while 2 private security firms and the FBI were brought in to help clean up the mess. Here's the problem. Why are we always playing defense? Where was the prevention? Where was the protections before this happened? Governor Tim Walz gave an official statement on his Minnesota's governor page, and it says, quote, "We are committed to working alongside the city of St. Paul to restore cybersecurity as quickly as possible," said Governor Walz. The Minnesota National Guard's cyber forces will collaborate with city, state, and federal officials to resolve the situation and mitigate lasting impacts. Above all, we are committed to protecting the safety and security of the people of St. Paul. See, this is what happens when local governments spend more time pushing woke initiatives than securing the basic infrastructure they're actually responsible for. This isn't just about St. Paul. This is a warning shot to every city in America, because too many Democrat-led cities are focused on climate resolutions, DEI workshops, and gender-neutral signage while leaving their digital gates wide open for attack. Now, let's talk about what residents actually faced. They couldn't pay water or utility bills online. They couldn't access library Wi-Fi or public computers. They couldn't communicate with city departments, and in some cases, employees couldn't even work at all. Now, thankfully, 911 services were still functioning, but how long before something like this targets emergency response as well? Now, to help us understand just how serious these kinds of attacks can get and how cities like St. Paul leave themselves vulnerable, here's a cybersecurity expert breaking it down.
Big questions are swirling around Minnesota's capital city.
They're in some trouble.
after St. Paul leaders revealed they're working to stop a cyber attack several days after it began on Friday.
They're in a situation where things got bad enough they chose to take down most of their critical infrastructure in order to keep the bad people from doing more bad things. That's the nuclear option.
A cybersecurity expert with more than 2 decades of experience, Bryce Austin says time will tell just how extensive this attack is, how people will be impacted, and what the responsible party is after.
Most of the time, these bad guys are after money. That's their goal, plain and simple. But that's not always the case.
That was the case in several previous cyber attacks on major cities across the country, including in Atlanta, Dallas, and Columbus.
It took several days for the city government here to finally admit that there was a cybersecurity attack.
Lacey Crisp is a crime and public safety reporter in Columbus who covered the attack extensively and is still following the aftermath a year later.
In total, about how many people would you say were affected by this?
Hundreds of thousands. Anyone who visited the city of Columbus was impacted, whether you parked in the city of Columbus and used the app, whether you had visited City Hall and you'd scanned your driver's license.
This isn't just some random glitch. This is a high-level digital warfare. Under Tim Walz, Minnesota has become a case study in government dysfunction, failed COVID nursing home policies, unchecked riots in Minneapolis, housing fraud and corruption, and now this. The state actually received millions in federal cybersecurity funding, but clearly that money didn't make it to the city where it was needed. The city needs a full public audit of St. Paul's cybersecurity system, hardening local infrastructure, and they just need to be transparent with residents about what was compromised, because we still don't know what exactly was breached. My hope is that cities start spending less time passing symbolic resolutions and woke ideologies and really start focusing on what really matters, which is protecting the people who pay taxes. So what do you think? Should the National Guard be on cyber patrol? And how should local governments prepare for these attacks in the future? Please let me know in the comments. And by the way, did y'all know tens of thousands of tarantulas are crawling their way across parts of the United States? But don't worry, there's no need to call pest control or panic just yet. This is just nature doing what it does best. From Texas to Colorado and even across parts of Arizona, New Mexico, Kansas, and California, people are witnessing what scientists call mate-gration. It's mating season for tarantulas. And every year around this time, thousands of males crawl out of their burrows in search of a female. Male tarantulas can travel as many as 20 miles in their pursuit of a romantic rendezvous, which often ends in the ultimate sacrifice. More often than not, after breeding with a female, the male dies and the female eats it. I guess it's all about love. I could not bear the sight of a tarantula. Many home spiders have kicked me out of my room multiple times. So, no thank you. Now, before you reach for flamethrowers, like I would, keep in mind that many of these spiders are relatively harmless. They're not aggressive, they're not deadly, and unless you're trying to pick one up with your bare hands, which I do not recommend, you're going to be just fine. Have any of you owned a pet tarantula as a kid? Because if you have, then I'm side-eyeing you. Let me know in the comments, and as always, if honest commentary brings you value, please make sure you like and subscribe, as it really helps support the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.